PSVR2 versus the Quest 2. I've had some time with both back to back. I have the Quest 2 here and my PSVR2 as well. Both great headsets. The Quest 2 is fantastic. I still love it. The wireless aspect of it is still amazing. It's a lot of fun to use. It's still very clear. You know, I put the headsets on back to back. PSVR2 is noticeably sharper. The resolution uptick is significant when you first put it on. However, the sweet spot is much easier to find on the Quest 2. I feel like it has a lot more, it's easier to, there's a bigger sweet spot in clarity, whereas on the PSVR2, I feel like I have to really mess with it, dial it in to get the sweet spot. Once I get the sweet spot though, it's actually really good. I also find the controllers to be a lot more comfortable on the Quest 2, significantly more comfortable actually. One thing that I don't like about the Quest 2 controllers, or not the Quest 2, the PSVR 2, the buttons do feel very small. It's not bad. I mean, it's totally doable, but it is small. And another weird thing about the Quest or the PSVR 2 controllers is it feels like the balance, the weight on them feels off. Like it feels like my hand wants to roll outward, so I'm holding it like this, and it feels like my hand, like it's naturally pulling my hand to rest like that, so it wants to roll. And I just find that it's just weird. It doesn't feel well balanced, whereas the Quest 2 feels nice and balanced in my hand. It doesn't want to roll one way or the other. I do think the tracking is better on the Quest 2. PSVR 2, the tracking's fine. Like it works good. I just noticed I don't know if it's just because it's new and they need to dial in the software. I mean, it works fine. It's just, it could be a little better. I noticed that the PSVR 2 looks better at lower brightness, so if you turn down your brightness, it'll look a little bit clearer. I think it helps with motion sickness as well, not as much motion blur, whereas at the high brightness settings you get a bit more blur. Although it does look really nice with high brightness, it does really pop the image. Especially when I was playing Star Wars, I was trying it back and forth, and the high brightness looked incredible at times. But I think the lower brightness is better. I felt better. I didn't feel as iffy. And overall, I've been really surprised with the motion sickness aspect. Historically, I've always struggled with motion sickness on VR games, especially games that don't require teleportation. It could be the higher refresh rate, the 120 hertz, that really makes it better for me. And yeah, I haven't been getting motion sickness like I typically do. Comfort. Comfort's another thing I want to talk about. The PSVR 2 is more comfortable. However, I feel like it gets really hot. My face gets hotter with the rubber. It sort of forms a seal on your face, and it just seems a little, gets kind of sweaty rather quick. Whereas the Quest 2 seems to be a little bit better about that, although I find the Quest 2 is definitely not as comfortable. Really pressed on your face, it's heavy, whereas the PSVR 2 sort of, the lenses sort of hang in front of your face. But yeah, all in all, I'm impressed with the PSVR 2. I'm starting to like it more. I think the first day I did like it, but I wasn't blown away by it by any means. But I think the more I've used it, the more impressed I have been with it. And I'm getting better at dialing in that sweet spot.